I'll probably keep the door open for a little bit. I will borrow your help, okay? So one of you, if one of you could just open the garage door for 5 more minutes, and then the one at the bottom, that's the one. Okay? Just press that one. If somebody comes, they should not feel being ignored. Okay. So let's do a quick roll call. So we have Sunarka, Dev, Riya, Tansi, Aryan, Neil, Rehan, and Vishal. Some kids are still missing. Where is Sarah? Okay. Hey, Nikhil.
Hello, sir.
Okay. I request to you guys, see only Tansi has turned on her video. If you guys feel comfortable, please turn on your video. So that way Tansi doesn't feel alone or lonely being online. And here we have kids who don't have the option of hiding their faces. So Pranit, why don't you come this side? At least I can make eye contact with you guys. Okay. Yeah. Sarah also has joined. Rehan has joined. Okay, cool. So let's get started then. What are we going to learn today? Little louder.
Factoring.
Factoring. Why factoring? What does it do? Right. So let me read out the topics for the day and then we'll get started. So we are going to learn, we are going to start Unit 6 and Unit 6 of SAT Prep. That primarily revolves around advanced math, the medium level of advanced math. So the topic that we are starting with, that is dealing with quadratic equations and polynomials. And as part of that, we will learn how do we solve quadratic equations and polynomials to find out the solution or the answers. And factoring is one of the method of doing so. So some of you who have dealt with it in the past would find it probably a bit of a repeat telecast, but then that would help us make sure that we practice enough. So most of you have dealt with quadratic equations in the past in some shape and form, right? So what I will do is I will first touch upon the basic concepts and then we will try doing as much of practice we can do, because practice makes a man perfect. And we have kids who are going to be men as well as some girls as well. So I will not make that statement, practice making a man perfect. It's all of us as a student, it makes us perfect. So that's what we will focus on. Is that okay, Sunarka, Aryan, Nikhil, Vishal, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so first of all, we will start with, so in today's class, today and tomorrow, we are going to deal with quadratic equations and polynomials. Everybody can hear me okay, right? Let me know if you would want me to be louder than this. Yeah? Okay. So when we talk about quadratic equations or polynomials, what is the first thing that comes to our mind? Parabola. Okay. Quadratic equation makes you think of parabola. Okay. Any other definition? And again, as I keep saying or keep claiming, I'm a very simple person. Give me a very simple definition. I'm not very intelligent, unfortunately. So you have to explain me things in a very, very simple way. Yes, Nikhil.
A quadratic equation is just the equation in fourth power.
A little louder.
A quadratic equation is just an equation to the fourth power.
To the fourth power? What was the power that you mentioned, Nikhil? One more time.
4.
4. Number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like this?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So it's just a quadratic or quadratic?
Quadratic.
Oh, that's it.
2. Okay. That's one correction. Anybody else? Rehan, Neil, Sarah. Give me some simple definition of what comes to your mind when you talk about a quadratic equation. Athansi. Okay. Aryan. You guys cannot afford to be shy with me, okay? Yes, Aryan, go ahead.
I don't know, so I quadratic plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a.
So you gave me a solution for a quadratic formula. I'm kind of trying to go a little slow. I'm getting lazy with every year passing by as I'm getting old. So let's go back to the very basic thing. Now, question to everybody. Everybody is okay? Is it very hot or somewhat malleable? Malleable, right? I'm sweating, that's what I'm asking. Because my face is a reflection of how hot it is here. But you guys are okay? Okay. So let's go back to history a little bit. We all know if somebody talks about something like this, we call it a linear equation. Yeah? Everybody? This is a linear equation. Why linear equation? Because when I say linear equation, I'm essentially talking about a line. It draws a line for us. Yeah? So basically, if I'm looking at an equation like this, and if I try plotting it on a coordinate plane, it draws a straight line. Be it like this, be it like this, be it like this, be it like this, be it like this. It will always draw a straight line for us, depending on what is the value of A, B, and C. Agreed? Vishal with me? Now, so when I'm talking about linear equation, I'm talking about a form like this. Or I can talk about y equal to 2x plus 9. And I can always map it to this equation. And this is the standard form of linear equation. And any equation which I am claiming to be a linear equation can be mapped to this kind of equation. Correct? And why I am saying so? Because here x to the power maximum power is 1. Here also you see 1. Y to maximum power is 1. And then this is a constant which could be anything. So this is a linear equation. And you guys must be getting tired and bored that okay, this is something that you know for ages now. But I'm saying this is a journey. We started from this as a linear equation. And when we go to the next step, I'm saying, okay, when the maximum power to my variables x and y is 1, that becomes a linear equation. So if I say x equal to 3, is it a linear equation? Little louder. Be it right or wrong, doesn't matter.
Yes.
Linear equation? Somebody said no. Why? Be ready to argue with your teacher, okay? I love argument. As long as that has a productive sense. Yes, tell me why. Vishal, Rehan, Neil, Sarah, anybody? Is this a linear equation? X equal to 3. Yeah, Vishal, go ahead. I'm ready to hear you.
X equal 3 is linear equation because if you see the graph is straight, but it is also not because it's not doing in standard form.
Okay. How about you, Nikhil? I heard one point of view. What about you, Nikhil? Tell me.
So we don't find the value of the equation, so it can only be, it can't be a linear equation.
It can be a linear equation, you said. Okay. How about you, Alakia? Tell me. Give me a point of view. See, there's nothing right or wrong. We'll beat this problem to death. so that we have no doubt about it. Little louder, better. Whatever comes to your mind.
It is a linear equation because maximum power to the variable is
Okay. Ria, Dave, Sunarka, anybody, give me your point of view. I'm not here to teach myself, I'm here to teach you guys. I want to hear your point of view. Yes, David.
It's a linear equation because I heard someone say it's not standard form, but you could say it is because it's just the y and the c. It shows their values still be zero. It's just not shown.
Okay. Vishal, you want to give another point of view? Yes, go ahead.
So it's not linear because it has a vertical line test. Like each graph and each point of each expression I want to analyze. It is not really working.
Okay, Nikhil, last point of view, and then I will start blabbering.
Sir, I forgot it is linear equation because x equals 3, every single value can be on every single value can be on the line of x equals 3 because x equals 3 can just be any y value, but x has to be 3. So the y value can fluctuate, but it has to be 3, so that makes linear line.
Okay. Now let me give you guys a point of view that I would want to get glued in your head. What did I start with? I said if I am saying a linear equation, there are only two things that I need to worry about. One, linear equation has a line in it. Is it going to draw a straight line for me or not?
Yeah.
That is the first point. And second point is the maximum power to the variables has to be 1. I said maximum power to the variable. I did not even bother to talk about the minimum power. Okay? So, now if you come back to this one, and there was some argument that I heard from you guys, and those were valid arguments. You were saying that, okay, my standard form is ax plus by plus c equal to 0. And this guy is not fitting in this situation. I am saying yes, it does. And let's look at it. Here, when I am looking at this equation, I can convert this to x minus 3 equal to 0. Correct? Now, that means here, if I compare with this standard form, what do I see? The value of a is equal to 1. That's how it is. X. The value of b was probably 0. I can convert this into x plus 0y minus 3. Now look at this guy. The coefficient of y, which is b, was eventually 0. That is why you did not see a y thing in this equation. But this was always present with us. We just ignored it. Like now you guys believe in some supernatural power, right? God. Nobody has seen God, but we all believe in that. So this is what you have to believe in. Y is always there with you actually. You just have to put in the coefficient which has value 0. That is how this was not visible to us. And then your C, the constant part, equal to minus 3. So it is still relating with the standard form of the linear equation. So it will be a linear equation. Simple thing. If somebody says y equal to 0, is this a linear equation? Yes, it is a linear equation. X equal to 5, is it a linear equation? Yes, it is. X plus 2y equal to 0, equal to 3, is it a linear equation? Yes, it is. Because all these can be related with the standard form of linear equation. Yeah? So, no matter how complex or easy problem we all deal with, the underlying principle will not change. Our building block of the concept will remain as stubborn as your teacher is. Okay? Am I stubborn? Okay. Let it be. I mean, I'm very stubborn when it comes to the concept. I don't even deviate a single inch from the concept. Because for me, that is the backbone. Okay? Now, come back to this one. So I'm saying, this was our question, right? Linear equation. So we thought, okay, we can map it with this thing. Now somebody say, okay, can I, if it's a linear equation, can I draw a straight line out of it? Yes, we can. X equal to 3 So if it is 1, 2 and 3, this is your linear equation, and this is a line that will be drawn by this equation actually. Each and every point on this will have x equal to value of 3. Any questions? So Chris, you joined in between, you have dealt with linear equation quite a lot in the past, you have heard about it so many times. I was just challenging everybody for fun to understand or do a quick check of how comfortable are we with the concepts of linear equation. But now you guys will say, sir, you have wasted 15 minutes. You were saying that today we are going to talk about quadratic equation and you are still talking about linear equation. So you are not trustworthy. That's a big problem. Let's fix that problem. So why I was doing all that I did was primarily to go back to the base from where we started and then extend further on that. So that means anything in the form of this is a linear equation, is a standard form. And our conclusion is if the maximum power to the variables is 1, that is a linear equation. Now I am changing it. I have gotten a new flavor. What did I do? One small change I brought in. The maximum power to one of the variables I picked up and I changed that to 2. And x was my pick. X is a reordered that is from n, so that's how x was my favorite. It's not x, it's called ax, like axe. Anyway, matter. Coming back to this one. So I changed the maximum power to one of the variables x to 2. So now one thing based on whatever I was talking about for last 10-15 minutes is that this guy will not draw a straight line for us for sure. Because it's not aligning with the definition of linear equation. Is everybody with me? Vishal, Rehan, Nikhil, Aryan,
Yes, sir.
Neil, Sarah. Ria has been very quiet. Okay. Snarka, no doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. So, now, since we all recall what is a linear equation, this doesn't seem to be an example of a linear equation. So, this is a different equation. And when the maximum power to the variable is 2, that is when it is called a quadratic equation, like what you explained in Nikhil, right? Everybody with me? So in today's class, we will deal with quadratic equations and polynomials. Now let's go back to polynomials. What is polynomial?
It's an expression with multiple
It's an expression with multiple
terms.
terms. Okay? Okay. So let's pick up an expression 4x plus 3y plus 9. This is an expression because it doesn't have an equal to sign. It is as good as some of you who have been in the class before, you will probably say, okay, this teacher is very boring. Keeps on repeating the same thing. But what to do? What is the difference between expression and equation? Anybody?
Expression usually there's some signs like usually set to equal to something, but the equation is showing to equal.
Okay. Yes, Tansi, you were saying something.
Expression has no answer. Like it has an equal to or something.
Okay. Somebody with name A joined. Who's A? Yep, and you're saying something.
A expression is when you have like a set of terms, but there's nothing that it equation is
Okay. So I'm just curious to know who is A, who has joined twice. Mr. or Miss A, can you unmute yourself and tell me your name? We'll see. Who is A? Okay, so coming back to the point.
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I am Alexia from. I'm trying to set up the online.
Oh, okay. No problem, ma'am. It's perfectly fine. Yeah, Alexia is with me in the classroom, so I'm perfectly fine.
I know, I'm just trying to set up online.
Oh, okay, no worries.
Okay.
Yeah. So coming back to the point, what is an expression? Like many of you said, expression is something where you don't have an equal to sign. And what does equal to mean? If I say this equal to 5, meaning all these things put together will give you this outcome. So the basic difference between equation and expression is equation has an equal to sign and that translates into some outcome. Wherein if you don't have an equal to sign, that's just an expression. It's as good as me coming to the class, smiling all 1 hour, doing nothing. There is no outcome. There is nothing that you are learning. You are just seeing my expression. So here also same thing. There is no outcome. There is nothing that you are taking out of it. So that's the basic difference that you can relate. Okay? Some of the jokes you might find nice. Some of the jokes will be very tiring. Bear with me. So this is expression. Now the point that Pranit was mentioning. Is everybody okay with the joke or the concept? Okay. Now coming back to this one. So if we say this is an expression, Pranit was mentioning that if you have to call something as a polynomial, it's an expression with multiple terms. What is a term? Term is something that is separated by these operands. This plus, minus, these are operands, right? It does some operation for us. So when we are talking about something plus something or something minus something, these operands separate these things and these separated things are called terms. So here if you look at this expression, we are talking about 1 term, 2 term, 3 term. So polynomial means something which has, polynomial refers to an expression or any expression which has more than 1 term. So if I am talking about 2x, this is not a polynomial because you don't see any plus or minus sign in between. This has only 1 term. This is called monomial. If you put a minus and say 6x squared, now you are getting closer to polynomial. You have more than 1 term. So anything which is more than 1, you can call it binomial. When 2 terms, when you have 3 terms, you can call it trinomial, quadrinomials, pentanomial, hexanomial, whatever it is. But for the sake of simplicity, anything which is more than 1, it is many, we call it polynomial. Is everybody with me? I need 5 thumbs up before I can proceed. No, I'm just kidding. I don't go by the count, but yeah, my intent is to make sure that everybody is comfortable with whatever we have discussed. So again, there is nothing new that we have discussed. Any questions so far? Sarah, Neil, Sunarka, Chris, Nikhil? No? You guys don't ask questions. Okay, so we just talked about what is a linear equation, how do we interpret something to be called as a linear equation. We said, okay, fine, how does an equation become from a linear equation to a quadratic equation? And then we talked about what is a polynomial. All these are basic definitions, the building blocks. Now let's get into some fun. So, let's say if I talk about y equal to 2x squared plus 4x minus 9. I just made it up. Just if I say that, okay, y equal to 2x squared plus 4x minus 9, what would it be? Only thing that is to notice here is the maximum power to one of the variable is 2. Yeah? Just by looking at this equation, what are the things that pops up in your mind? Yeah, think about it. The equation is right in front of you. I'm sure you guys are not liking my shiny face. Let me continue. Okay. So, get me 2-3 sentences that defines what goes in your mind when you look at this equation. Any observation, any thinking, any concept that you start wondering about. Yeah. Ready? It's a quadratic equation, okay? What else? And as I keep saying, I'm not a complicated person. So tell me all simple things that comes to your mind. Simple things are beautiful. Yeah. I'm sorry?
It's an equation.
It's an equation. It's a quadratic equation. What else? Riya, Sanalka, yeah, David.
Whenever I look at it, I just take note of the A, B, and C values.
Okay. Alright. So let me start peeling up the onions. Who all thinks they are good cook? Here. Tansi is a good cook? Kind of. Who loves enjoying cooking? Yadiya, go ahead. You are a good cook? Okay. Nikhil?
What did you say, sir?
Now I was asking who all thinks or believes that he or she is a good cook.
Me.
Oh, you are a good cook? Okay. We'll check that offline. So coming back to the thing, I was saying that let's peel up the onions. Now, when I look at this equation, these are some of the things that will come to my mind based on whatever we know. That this is a quadratic equation, for sure, because the maximum power to one of the variables is 2. Second thing, so if it was a linear equation, it would have drawn a straight line. This is not a linear equation, so it's not going to draw a straight line. That's the second thing that comes to my mind. Now look at this. Let's say this is a quadratic plane. If I am drawing a straight line, not in this quadratic equation, I am saying if I am drawing any straight line for that matter, if you see this interesting drawing that you see on the board, I want you guys to make some quick observation. Any straight line, can I make a statement that if I have a straight line, it can maximum intersect or intercept x and y axis only once or maximum one time? Pick up this line. This is intersecting y axis here, x axis here, only once. Do you think it will ever intersect x and y axis again? No, it cannot. That is maximum. Maximum one time it can intersect x and y axis. Look at this line. This also can intersect, intersecting y axis here, x axis here. There is no second chance for a linear equation or a straight line to intercept any of the axes. Is that making sense? Riya, Snarka, Nikhil, Thansi, see, I can see Thansi, so if she understood, based on how she is nodding her face, I can make out whether she is with me or not. All of you who are not saying your face, I have to guess. So that's where I need a response. Okay. So one thing that we can see is, if I am talking about a linear equation or a straight line, I mean linear equation translates into a straight line. Right? It can only intersect x and y axis only at one place, or maximum at one place. If I am talking about a straight line like this, it is not even bothering to intersect x axis. It's only intersecting y axis. If I am talking about a straight line like this, it's not even getting closer to y axis. It is only intersecting x axis. Okay. So now with a straight line we can see that and say that okay, if I am talking about a linear equation which translates into a straight line, if I draw it on a coordinate plane, it can intersect x or y axis only up to one time. What would happen if I am talking about a quadratic equation. Can I make a statement here? If I have a quadratic equation, okay, and if I try plotting this guy here, any equation for that matter, be it a linear equation, quadratic equation, tertiary equation, whatever, or equation power 10 or 20, whatever. It is a contract between the variables. Now you look at this equation. Here, the contract between x and y is that whatever be my value, I will take a square of that, multiply that by 2, plus add my value with 4 times of it and subtract 9, that will be my value of y. If x value increases, y value will keep on increasing. If x decreases, y will keep on decreasing. That's an agreement between the two variables, x and y. Right? Like you guys have an agreement with me. The Saturday and Sunday we will spend 1 hour together trying to learn something. Same way, any equation that you look at is a contract between the variables. It's an agreement. It's a in technology terms or in corporate terms we call it SOW, statement of work. So they have agreed. Okay. Now here this is the agreement that we have. Okay. So you can always put a table, say okay fine, what is the value of x and y? If I am putting x equal to something, what is the corresponding value of y? And you will take these points, let's say I'm just making it up. I'm just making it up. Okay? I did not do any calculation. I'm saying I got x and y coordinates, corresponding values. If I try plotting it, it will plot a parabola. So that's another thing that you guys already know, that if I'm talking about a quadratic equation, it draws a parabola, like a bell, which is upside down or straight. But anyways, we have not gone there. So whatever you know is enough. Now, so three things. It's a quadratic equation. It will not draw a straight line. It probably will draw a parabola because it's a quadratic equation. That's what we know. How we will figure out later. Next thing that we are trying to figure out from this quadratic equation is that okay, now if I want to know that what are the places. So in linear equation we said that okay, if it's a line, it will intersect x or y axis only once. Here I am trying to find out how many places this equation can intersect x axis. 2 or up to 2. Up to 2. I mean, just because I am drawing it here this way, it makes you believe that it's intersecting the x axis at 2 places. But I will not even think about it. What I will think about it, okay, if I have any equation, it will intersect x axis. Let's say if it intersects here, what will be the value of y on this place? 0. If it intersects here, this equation intersects x axis here. At this point, what will be the value of y? 0. So now we are saying, okay, fine. I have an equation like this, and I am trying to find out where this will intersect x axis. Where it will intersect x axis will be the place where my y value will be 0. Yeah. So if I solve this equation for the value of x, those are the points where this will intersect. Because on both the points, be it 1 or 2, the value of y will be 0. That's what we did here. So now, what we are getting into is a quadratic equation. I am trying to find out what are the places where this quadratic equation will cross the x-axis. And whenever it crosses the x-axis, at that point the value of y will be 0. So we will just put the value of y equal to 0 here, and we will try solving this guy to find out the x coordinate of this point and x coordinate of this point, because y coordinate will be 0 anywhere. Okay? So now, with all the discussion that we have had so far in 35-36 minutes, we are trying to figure out from a quadratic equation how do we relate that to the concepts to understand why we need to even solve a quadratic equation, because the quadratic equation draws a parabola for us, and if we solve it for y equal to 0, it helps us figure out what are the points where it's going to intersect x-axis. Yeah? If you have to find out where this equation intersects the y-axis, what will you do? You will put the value of x equal to 0. Any point it touches, on those points the value of x will be 0. So you will say, okay, y equal to 2x square, oh, x is 0, so 0 square, plus 4x, oh, x is 0 again, minus 9. Just by looking at this equation, by putting the value of x equal to 0, you found out that y equal to minus 9. Oh, so there is only one value, meaning this parabola is going to cross this or intersect the y-axis at only one place, that is where y is equal to minus 9. So it's somewhere here. So you, without putting much of effort, you found out what is the y-intercept of a quadratic equation. And we are trying to find out what is the x-intercept, meaning where it is intersecting the x-axis by solving this equation. That's what we'll do. So next 1.5 hours, meaning today and tomorrow's class, we'll be dealing with how do we solve quadratic equation for different values of the variable. Okay? And now you guys know why we are needing to do that, because it gives you that way to figure out your quadratic equation, what is the x-intercept, what is the y-intercept. Make sense? Now let's, again, and math, as I keep training, it's a very interesting subject. Now you will say, why do we have to worry about the x and y intercept? What kind of a help it provides? Now let's think of a situation. You are standing here, okay, and you want to throw a stone which will hit your friend's roof where you have a balloon which you are trying to blow. Okay? You will not throw it straight like a bullet. You are throwing a stone, right? You cannot throw a stone straight, horizontal. You will send it like a projectile motion. It will go like this and hit this. And this projectile motion is nothing but it's another representation of a parabola, inverted parabola, which is upside down. So you will think about, okay, what kind of equation will help me hit this stone here? So now look at this. You are in this place, you are trying to come back to the same place, make it the same height, building. Only thing that is changing for you is x. Y changes and comes back to this place. So if you visualize this as like a quadratic equation, you will say, okay, fine, my y value, let's say it's a ax squared plus bx plus c, a standard form of the quadratic equation. You will say, okay, fine, my y is not changing, only my x is changing. And then you will have some information about this, right? How far these two buildings are, right? This place and this place. So a situation like this, you will be able to calculate, right? I mean, you all heard about what is happening between India and Pakistan right now. And people are talking about countries firing missiles, somebody intercepting those missiles and all those things. Missiles don't go in a straight horizontal line. They also follow in projectile motion. All these calculations that we are going to learn have practical relevance. I'm not saying that you guys are going to fire missiles, but you'll be able to relate to it. You'll learn the science or math behind that to understand how those devices are designed. You guys might join a manufacturing industry which makes devices, right? This knowledge will come handy for you to design the things right there. Okay? If let's say tomorrow your parents don't come to pick you up, and I know that, okay, fine, you are, let's say, 500 feet apart from where we are. You might think of putting you on a pulley and pull you back and leave you. You'll follow the tail motion and land on your house's roof. I mean, we're not going to do that. I'm just saying. These are the ways these concepts are used for a lot of things that you'll see. When we solve problems, you'll see those particularly relatable things. So we're not learning something to get stressed out. You'll be able to relate that with a real life thing where you'll say, oh, yeah, this is interesting, this is cool. When we solve the word problems, we'll see a lot of relevance of that. Arush is very quiet today. What happened, madam? All okay? Okay. So far, these concepts are going down well or going down the drain? Going down well? Okay. Okay. Good. Everybody with me? Rehan, Aryan, Dave, Chris, Tansi. Okay. So, we just looked at different concepts. We talked about linear equation, we talked about quadratic equation, we talked about polynomials, we talked about the difference between expressions and equations. All that were the key ingredients that we have to have with us to be able to solve all the interesting problems related to quadratic equation. Okay? So, let's continue. So now we have come to a point where we are trying to solve quadratic equations. Let's say somebody says, okay, find out 6x squared minus 2x plus 18 equal to 0. Solve it for x. Okay. So don't try solving it for x. We'll come to that. We have different methods for doing it. So before we try doing that, there's some basic building blocks that we need to be aware of. There's some standard rules. I keep forgetting the name for that, or term for that. You would have heard about something called this.
Oh, I don't know.
What is the name for this guy? Tell me.
I just thought that it's special formulas.
Little louder, beta.
I think it's like special formulas.
Special formulas. Okay, let's call it special formulas. Do you remember what is it called? I remember in one of the class when I was just revising it, there was an interesting term for it which I forgot. But for me, when we talk about a quadratic equation, this becomes one of the most important element for decoding a quadratic equation. Now you'll say why? Now let's try solving one problem. Let's say if I'm talking about x squared plus 4x plus 4 equal to 0, solve it for x. So if I'm trying to do that, when I look at this, if I say x is equal to a and b equal to 2, and I can fit in this formula, what it becomes is, I can say, okay, this is a squared plus, this is a squared, let's say if x is a squared plus 2 into 2 into x, so 2ab, a squared plus 2ab plus 4 is nothing but 2 squared. So a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Oh, so this is nothing but x plus 2 whole squared. That means that I can say, okay, this is x plus 2 into x plus 2 equal to 0. That means either this is 0 or this is 0. And both are same eventually. So I can say x plus 2 equal to 0. That is how I can get this result. Hey Mandeep, you joined how early? 15 minutes early? You will have fun. We are talking to the kids in 10th, 11th grade. You can join for 15 minutes, okay? Yeah? Is it okay? Mandeep? Mandeep, I'm saying you can join after 15 minutes, okay? You are early for your class. Yeah? I don't know if Mandeep can hear me okay or not. Okay, so this became or x equal to minus 2. So I have to solve for this equation and we could relate that with one of the special formulas and that gave me a very straightforward answer. I did not have to do much of calculation. So whenever we are dealing with solving a quadratic equation, the first thing you do is look at your quadratic equation and see if your quadratic equation relates with any of them. Let's say you have to solve for x squared minus 64 equal to 0. You can say, okay, this is x squared minus 64 is nothing but 8 squared. So a squared minus b squared. My x is a and 8 is my b. So I can say this is x plus a plus b into a minus b. That means either x plus 8 is equal to 0 or x minus 8 equal to 0. If this is 0 or this is 0, then only you can have this value. So this one gives you x equal to minus 8 and this one gives you x equal to plus 8. So you got two values of x by solving for this quadratic equation. Is it making sense to everybody? No? Okay. If somebody says solve a quadratic equation for value of x where x is square minus 6x plus 9 equal to 0. Now look at these three formulas very carefully. A plus b whole square is a square plus 2ab plus b square. A minus b whole square is a square minus 2ab plus b square. So basically, if you compare between a plus b whole square and a minus b whole square, the only difference that you see is this being plus, 2ab being plus and 2ab being minus. When you have a plus here, you have a plus 2ab. When you have minus here, you have minus 2ab. Everything else is the same. And a square minus b square gives you a plus b into a minus b. Now, you can find it out also. A plus b whole square is how much that you can find out, right? So it's simple. A plus b whole square is nothing but a plus b into a plus b. So you will multiply a into, sorry, let's start with this one. A into a is a square plus a into b is ab. Then this one is done. Then you go to this one. B into a is ba or ab, same thing. And b into b is b square. So that is how a plus b whole square gives you a square plus ab plus ab 2ab plus b square. Yeah. I'm just multiplying simple polynomials, no big deal. So that is how these formulas are derived. Are you guys with me or not? Everybody with me? Riya, Sarah, Neil, Nikhil, Rehan. Rehan has been very quiet. Soma, not Soma, Sunarka, sorry, my bad. Okay. So the first thing, coming back to the same point, if you have any quadratic equation to deal with, you always try to find out which formula you are able to relate with. Let's say, if I'm just making it up, okay? If I look at this equation, I said, okay, I have two terms with a plus and one term with a minus. This might be closer to this guy. Two terms plus, one term minus. Is it same thing? Okay, x squared minus 6 I can write as 2 into 3 into x. Okay, and 9 is nothing but a perfect square of 3. Now you look at this. A squared, if x is by a, it's a squared minus 2 into a into b, and this is b squared. Isn't this a perfect square? So you have this quadratic equation to solve, and by looking at this one, you could say, okay, fine, this is mapping to one of the standard formula that we know. So this is nothing but x minus 3 whole square. That means x minus 3 into x minus 3 equal to 0. Either this is 0 or this is 0. Eventually both are same. So x minus 3 is equal to 0. That's the only way I can get this value as 0. So x equal to 3. We are talking about only one point. Only one solution from this quadratic equation. So now the next thing is, when you solve a quadratic equation, you can get one answer, two answers, or no answer. Okay? Your quadratic equation might not give you an answer. What does it mean? If I had y equal to x squared plus 6x minus 9, let's say. So I'm trying to find out, okay, where does this intersect x-axis, mean where the y value will be 0. So I put this equal to 0, x squared plus 6x minus 9. Now when I solve this and I don't get a solution for x, don't get a solution for this quadratic equation for x, that means there is no point on this axis where this is intersecting. Maybe it is drawing here. That's why it's not touching the x-axis. Okay? So solving problem is one part of it. Understanding what we are solving makes it more fun. So how do you solve problems? There are hundreds of ways to learn it. Okay? You can learn it on YouTube, you can learn it from any teacher, you can learn it from your friends. Why we are here in the classroom? My only motivation is to make you think about the problems. Okay? When you go back home after finishing the class, if you think about it, okay, I had not looked at this perspective. That would create excitement. That would make you think, I said, okay, fine, can I pick up another problem and deal with it and see what happens? When you kind of get into that kind of mindset, you will actually explore the beauty of math. Yeah? Apart from the sweat that I'm getting right now. Yeah? Okay. So one AC is probably not enough. I need to install one more. For you guys it's okay, right? It's working. I probably need one more here, right next to me. I'm getting heated. Okay, alright. So that's okay. So the point is, don't try solving problems. Try thinking about the problem. Think about the problem and then try solving it. You will find a lot of interesting elements into it. Like what we are doing, right? I can finish the whole solution of quadratic equation in 1 hour. And then I'll say, okay, I taught you guys everything that you have to learn. Now practice 50 more problems, you'll be fine. I'm not doing that. I'm saying, let's become a good cook. Peel off the onions. Think about it, what is there inside it. And then when you start enjoying those insider details, that is when math doesn't give you stress. Was it a good talk? Make sense or not? Is everybody with me? Sunarka? Tansi? Dave? Nikhil? Okay. See, even Mandeep, who is in 4th grade, is enjoying quadratic equation. Huh? Okay. Alright. So, this is what we just learned, the first part of it. Okay? Where we will use these standard formulas for solving a quadratic equation. There are other ways of doing things also, which we'll learn. Okay? So first method is always this one. What is the second method, Pradeep? If you remember? So that's called a quadratic formula. So if I have a standard form of a quadratic equation like x squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. I am saying this as 0 because I am trying to solve it for x. So that's why I have just ignored y. I am saying I am trying to solve it for x, meaning where would if there was a y here, it would draw a parabola for us. If I am trying to solve this quadratic equation, meaning what is the situation when y is 0, meaning where is intersecting the x-axis. Okay? So if I have a quadratic equation like this, there is a quadratic formula which says you don't have to do all fancy stuff to solve it. You can say the maximum number of solutions that you can have is 2, and that comes from this formula minus x equal to minus b plus minus b square minus 4ac by 2a. This is called quadratic formula, meaning you find out the coefficient of x square, that is a, coefficient of x, which is b, and the constant c. You will say, why is this coming to picture? Let's look at it. This formula is derived from this equation only. Okay? Now let's look at it. Let's quickly solve this formula and then I will do this go. Now here, we are trying to solve for x. So x square equal to minus bx. I'm sorry?
It's just negative.
Yeah. So it becomes minus bx plus c. So what we are trying to do here is, let's say, how much time do we have? Only 2 minutes. That will not be enough for deriving this formula. Anyway, we can derive this formula tomorrow. That's also okay. So that is called a quadratic formula. And there is a third method that is called another method to factorize things. Okay. So let's say if I have something like this, let's say I'm talking about x squared minus 4x plus 18 equal to 0. So here we'll see, okay, what is my a value? A is nothing but 1. What is my b value? It's nothing but 4. Right? Which is b is nothing but the coefficient of x. And what is my c value? Nothing but 18 here. What we do is we multiply these two guys, a and c, and see what is the value. So 18 into 1, we got 18. Now you look at how do you factorize 18 into two parts. So 18 if I have, I can write this as 18 into 1 or 9 into 2 or 6 into 3. Okay? And then you will look at these two combinations will give you this value. If you get that, you will use that for solving it. So these are some of the techniques that we'll talk about in the class tomorrow for solving quadratic equations. So there are essentially three ways. One is relating your quadratic equation with standard formula if it is straightforward. If not, you explore this option. If this also doesn't work, then the third formula is quadratic formula. If that also doesn't work, surrender and say I don't have a solution right now. Or maybe there is no way to solve. Not every problem can be solved. There could be problems that we cannot solve. So that will be the fourth situation, and we will talk about that some more tricks. So quadratic equation solving is very important because that will help us deal with parabolas, polynomials, and a lot of cool stuff. And in future, when we talk about, when you guys learn more deeper concepts of physics, you will see the application of these things that we are learning right now. Okay. With that being said, I will let you guys go and talk to you tomorrow same time. We'll continue with our journey with